Hello, 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 everybody. Welcome to the Nimble Urban Survivor and happy Valentine's Day week. It's actually February 9th. Valentine's Day is on a Sunday this year, but I feel like you have to say it like that. There's no manly way to say Valentine's Day. See, I naturally just went, I was like, Valentine's Day. And, I'm, old and married. I just turned 25 last week. So I wanted to get Liz Phillips, our love expert on the East Coast back. Liz, welcome back to the show. Good to have you here. Get that fake studio audience cheering for you. Wow, they're really going. They go for a while there. Okay. Oh, they're still going. Okay.
Oh, my God.
I know. So the one thing is like, because Liz, obviously, if you guys didn't know this, Liz Phillips lives in Manhattan. And I think that like Manhattan to me is like the capital for Valentine's Day, because all the rom-coms about Valentine's Day take place in New York. Like all of the the Hallmark Valentine's Day movies, it's always like in New York. It's like she works at a magazine, he works at a publicist. They hate each other, but it's Valentine's Day and they don't want to be alone. And I feel like that's right. Like New York. To me, right. New York is like
Christmas movies are all in Utah with snow and big houses.
Yeah. Like there's nobody ever has like any heartfelt movies in LA, because Valentine's Day isn't big in LA, and I think that's just because a lot of people just buy love out here. You'll have like the 60-year-old man, and he bought like a 20-year-old wannabe actress, and every day for her is probably Valentine's Day. Because she's living off that MasterCard.
As long as he's taking her to Tiffany on a weekly or Rodeo drive, then she's set.
Oh yeah. So Valentine's Day, I don't think it's like a big thing in Los Angeles, but in New York, the city that never sleeps, I feel like Valentine's Day is like a national holiday.
I think it's a national holiday anywhere but LA. I mean, people in the Midwest love a good Hallmark holiday. They have that Sweetest Day crap, whatever that is.
Yeah, but like in the Midwest, it's like, it's real happy. You're like, like, here's some candy and here's a piece of paper that says, I choose you.
Okay, well, I was going to tell you this story. The worst Valentine's Day I've ever had is, I'll never forget. So I was still in Chicago. I was in my apartment on the north side at Loyola, and I'm on the phone with my mom. And I think it was Valentine's Day or like the day before, but it was Valentine's. And the doorbell rings and she's like, well, who's that? And I was like, I don't know. And so I answer it. And I was only like on a one flight walk up. I mean, I was prepping. So, the guy comes up and he has this huge bouquet of flowers. And I'm just like flabbergasted. I'm like, oh my God, Mom. I was like, someone just sent me flowers. She's like, really? And I'm just like, what is that supposed to mean? Like, you really doubt my capability immediately? Yeah. So I'm just like, yeah. So literally, I had just shut the door and was so flabbergasted. I don't even think I gave the guy any a tip, because I was like, I'm in college.
I don't think you don't have to tip them. You don't tip flower people. So they're killing flowers.
He leaves, and I'm just like, this is insane. Who are they from? So I'm literally about to open, drum roll, about to open the card. And someone knocks on the door again. And I'm just like, oh. So I reopen the door, and the delivery guy looks at me and he goes, I'm sorry, but those aren't for you. And I was just mortified. I was just mortified. And my mom hears the whole thing, and she's just like, wait, what just happened? I was like, Mom, someone just sent me flowers, but they weren't for me.
Oh, I would have just kept them. I just feel like, no, they're mine now.
Now every year I'm I'm grown, and you, I'm old. And I mean, although 22, I've got 6 months to 22. So anyways,
yeah.
Every year she asks me, she's like, the other day, she's like, what can I send you for Valentine's Day? She's like, do you want chocolates or are you dieting? And I'm just like, what? Again, Mom.
Mom, what are you doing?
Do you want flowers? I know Ethan's going to get you flowers. I'm just like, it's really endearing that she really is concerned that I need something to open on Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
Because of this traumatic experience of literally opening the door and then it was I was like, who could this possibly be from? Like, I don't know.
I know you were like,
I
oh, you're like a secret admirer. It could be a coworker.
yeah,
Oh my
because I
God.
watched
Maybe
too
it's that
many
guy.
rom-com. Like, I watched Sleepless
Yeah.
in
Yeah. It
Seattle
was
on
the
like
rom-com. Yeah.
VHS so many
It could have been
times.
Tom Hanks. Tom Hanks was like,
Oh, you've
Fox
got mail.
books.
It could have been, yeah. I could have been I was like living out my Meg Ryan fantasies. And then no, he just took it back.
Oh my God.
So now anytime I get flowers, I'm like, wait, are they actually for me? It's another,
you gotta like double check it.
Scarred. It's like PTSD. Like I have to really check. I'm like, are you sure these are for me? Are you sure this is the right apartment?
So, here's a funny flower, because I went through this phase. I remember when like I was in my early 20s in Chicago, and I went through this phase where like I would date girls, and this is Valentine's Day, but flower related. I would send flowers to girls. Like I would send flowers to them.
I was gonna ask you, were you sending like more than one? Were you sending more than one bouquet? Like, well, here's
the funny story. So the funny story is I worked in the Aon building. And we had a flower shop like in the lobby, because they have like the little mall shops. And so I would go down there and I would I would send flowers to a girl I'd been dating for like maybe like a week or two to like get in sweet with them. And I remember the flower lady, would keep track of all of the girls.
Keeping track of your dates.
Well, she has to like keep it in their like flower database.
She had your little black book.
Yeah, she did. And I remember she would be like, oh, are you sending these to Sarah? And I'd be like, oh, no. This is going to go to Kelly now. And she's like, oh, okay, well, I need to put her address in the system. And then it was just funny because we'd always have that awkwardness. She's like, so is this going to Sarah A or Sarah B? And I'm like, oh, Sarah A is done. This is going to go to Sarah A or B. See, I can't even keep track anymore. But it was funny because the flower lady, I don't know if she still exists, but the flower lady in Chicago in the Aon building probably has my little black book, and she doesn't even realize it. So if she's ever hard for cash after COVID, like if she got shut down, she might be able to auction that off and probably make $5 to $6, I would assume, off of that.
Maybe you should go back and track these girls down,
Yeah, I know. Ask for the flowers
back. Find out if they kept a dried rose from each bouquet that you sent.
Yeah, they put it in the book. There's another thing, like you put the flower in the book, you like shut the book. You're like, I got this Webster's dictionary so I can crush this rose and look at it a year from now.
All right, I'm not guilty of that, but I do save a flower from every bouquet that my boyfriend's giving me. It's kind of like creeping me out though now because it's in my closet and like they just look like, well, they're dead flowers, and I'm just yeah, I don't know that if we end up together like long, our future children are going to be like, oh, wow, she saved a flower from like 2000 something. Like, yeah, it's not.
That's good. Well, that's good that like you and him are still like in that romance thing. Cause I've been married now, and now like instead of flowers.
What are you trying to tell me? The honeymoon ends?
Oh, it ends, and eventually the flowers.
Don't tell our dating audience that. They need to know that the honeymoon doesn't end. My honeymoon hasn't ended.
The honeymoon gets cheaper. That's what I'll say. Because you go from buying expensive roses, like I used to buy like my wife like nice expensive things for Valentine's Day. Now I could just come home and be like, I got a box of cookies at the grocery store. Happy Valentine's Day. And I got this 2 liter of Coke. And she'd be like, this is the greatest. This is the greatest gift I've ever gotten. Yeah, Heinemann's.
I mean, if they were Heinemann's, I'd be like, listen, we established on your last podcast. I mean, all it takes for me is McDonald's. So, like, I'd be like, maybe if someone shows up with a Happy Meal for me, I'll be like,
dude, I'd be sad. You know what? If a girl for Valentine's Day when I was younger was like, I got you this Happy Meal and it comes with an awesome Batman toy, I'd be like, here's an engagement ring. I'd be like, I'm in. Like, I'm in.
Like a Cracker Jack box with the ring or the prize.
I'm like, here you go. So I guess that brings me to a good point though, is because here's the funny thing too, is like I didn't really spend a lot of Valentine's days with girls that I was dating because usually we'd end up breaking up by the end of the year. So I always kind of made it a point, to be like single. But here's the thing is like, how long do you have to date someone before you have to officially celebrate a Valentine's Day? Like if you started dating somebody, let's say on February 1st, and you've only been dating for like 2 weeks, do you really even celebrate VD? Do you even acknowledge it? I mean, what do you do in that sense?
Oh, I mean, I think you have to acknowledge it.
Like, do you go all out?
I don't think you need to spend. Well, okay. If you are knocked down, hands down, in love with this person, and you're like, this is my person, then like, okay, you could roll out the red carpet. However, I think people get like
weirded out. Yeah,
like
people
they get
weirded
intimidated. I mean, I think it would be appropriate to just be like, address it like, well, not all men are adults, to address it like an adult and just say,
Yeah.
listen, I think, you know, it is Valentine's Day, but like, would you want to do something? Like, would you want to have dinner or like,
Yeah.
the thing
Would you
about
like to
going
get
out on
those Happy
Valentine's
Meals?
Day, it's yeah. Well, the thing about going out on Valentine's Day is it's so freaking overhyped. It's like New Year's, where
Yeah,
it's
it's
just
a
like
shit show.
everyone who normally never goes out. And I just like in New York City, it's like then it's like every tourist from New Jersey and Connecticut, like all these people
Yeah.
from
They're
random
like, we're gonna
places,
let's go
like
do something
Chicago,
romantic, baby. I'm gonna
the
take you.
Indiana, the Hoosiers all flood the
Yeah.
city, and it's like you're just like it's not enjoyable when you're
No,
you know
no.
it's really like not. But I do think if you just started dating, I think it's fair to kind of just address it and be like, hey, maybe do you want to have a bottle of wine and come over and like we'll order takeout? Like,
Yeah.
I don't necessarily think you need to roll out the red carpet and be like, here's $150 worth of roses and show. I mean, unless you really want to get some, then like, okay. But I
Yeah.
just don't think like, and I also think women aren't necessarily looking for that red carpet experience, like the rollout. They just want you to acknowledge it.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I always like, my biggest thing is I'm always like, I just want a card. I'd rather have something in writing because I believe
Yeah.
that when something is written, then it's permanent and you actually had to, you know, think about it and you're, you know, so when something is in like a card for me is like, you had to go through the act of going to the store, standing in the Walgreens, going through all the card aisle, which is very depressing as is.
Yeah.
If you're single, it's just like, oh God, let me vomit. You know, you got to go through the act of like finding a card, buying the card, and then thinking of something like remotely creative to say. So that's like, you know, but I'm old school like that. You know, I mean, maybe if you're one of these bachelorette contestants, then yeah, you want like a $200 bouquet. And
yeah,
like,
because I've never gone all out. Like I've never done like I know guys will be like, I rented a limousine and got us a Sinatra impersonator, and we're driving to Vegas, baby. Like I've never gone all out for it. I literally would be like, I got you this Happy Meal.
yeah.
And
like,
it comes with
like
a milkshake.
Yeah,
and then she's like, where's the milkshake? And I'm like, it's in the bedroom because I have a mini fridge in there to keep it cold.
But are you spiking it? That's you throwing a little something in it.
I throw a little bit of love, courage, and happiness with a crisp high five.
You know, it is really hard for anyone, I think, who's single to be single on Valentine's Day. Because it's almost like the world is slapping it in your face like, F you, you're single, and like you're surrounded by like just everywhere you go, and you're just like,
it's like
I said,
red
like
hearts and teddy bears and
all that. Oh God, like it's just,
I don't know. I used to tell people though, I'd be like, dude, I go, it's like the best thing to be by yourself on Valentine's Day because you don't have to spend any money on anyone. You know what? I statistically ran the numbers on a Harvard calculator, and if you just skip Valentine's Day for 3 years in a row, you have enough money to buy a 17-bedroom house in Beverly Hills. That's how much money you'll save.
Oh wow, gentlemen! I hope you're taking notes. I hope you're taking notes. I know. Like, go for that box of cookies in the grocery store.
Yeah, get the Entenmann's.
Go for the Happy Meal. Like, you know, I don't even know what a Happy Meal costs
nowadays. Get some custom-made pastries by a little chef called Little Debbie. She is sweet.
How about like Betty Crocker, where you DIY?
I don't even know. Is Betty Crocker's? Is she still a thing?
Yeah, she's got like pre-made cookie crap. You can like buy it in the store. How about Pillsbury? There you go. Cut, slice, and bake. I baked you these cookies. Slice and bake. $4. Boom.
Actually, you know what? That brings us to a good point. What's a better Valentine's Day gift? A homemade gift or a purchase gift? What would you rather have? Would you rather have, like, let's say your boyfriend's like, Liz, we went to like, let's say you guys went to like a Broadway show on your first date. He keeps the program. He frames it. He puts like, I love you on it and gives it to you, right? So he didn't spend any money. He just bought a frame, probably cost him nothing because he stole it. And then you buy him like a diamond encrusted gold bracelet that probably cost you $20,000. So what's the better Valentine's Day gift? The $20,000 or the program of the, picture frame that I stole from a homeless guy?
Okay, well, wait, it's different because I'm giving him something really expensive and he's giving me something really cheap. Now, if
so I guess,
giving me something really expensive, versus really cheap, then that's where it's like tricky. I mean,
Well,
that's
it gets
like,
it's what has more value, like currency, money, value gifts like diamonds and gold, or like emotional love currency gifts
well,
like
that depends
the
on the woman.
programs and like he's like, I wrote a poem for you, like I didn't spend
That
any
de-
money on it, but what's better? What weighs more?
well, I mean, that depends on the woman. We both know which way I'm going to go. I mean,
Yeah, I
obviously,
would
it's
go
the
the bracelet too. Yeah.
sentimentality.
Oh yeah. Sentimentality. Yeah, I would go for
It's
that
the
too.
sentimentality. But at the same
But
time, like, if you're gonna buy me diamonds, like, by all means. I mean, actually, one of my girlfriends, her boyfriend, texted me, and he said, "Oh, I'm looking at a gift for my friend," and I was like, "Oh, what are we buying?" And then he started sending me these links, and I was just like, "Oh, wow, I love spending other people's money." So.
yeah. Yeah, that's the American
I was
dream.
just, I was like, oh my God, we're buying her like a really expensive bracelet. I was like, this is amazing. And then I was like more excited for her than I was like about anything. And then I was like so flattered that he asked me. But yeah, I mean, and so that, but getting back, I think that was really special though, because he does buy her nice things, but like it was, just the thought of like, I'm really going to research like what she really would like. I'm going
Yeah,
to ask
yeah.
one of her good girlfriends, like, do you think? And I was like really honest with him. I was like, actually, I went for the cheaper model. I didn't pick the really expensive one because I was like, no, I actually think this one is more special and it's more her. So
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
actually kind of proud of myself. I was
So
like, but
then are
again,
we
I love spending
yeah.
other people's money. I'm like,
So
yeah.
then are we saying that the expensive gift has more value versus like the handwritten poem gift?
No,
Which one's better?
you can't put value on that. It's not that one is better than the other.
Okay,
They're
because
just different.
it's jewelry
Women
that you could
love, okay,
resell.
yeah, but women love material things. I can't help it. It's like women just like, and I don't care any woman that's like, no, I don't like material things. It could be a freaking knockoff Chanel bag from Chinatown.
Yeah, they
People
don't know the
like
difference.
things. People just like things.
Yeah, we like
And,
stuff.
exactly, we love stuff. Come on, we're Americans. We love,
Yeah,
we love stuff. So, yeah, I mean, but I think, the sentimental anything, I think whatever you're gift giving, it has to be something like I have this theory when people get married that like I
yeah,
refuse to buy them anything on their registry. I mean, you know that. Like
yeah,
I will think
yeah,
of something so outrageously like and probably remotely expensive. Something so outrageous that like no one would ever think of buying them. That's how I think. Because I
yeah,
want them to look back and be like, "Oh my god, she bought us this and we use it all the time." Or like, "Oh my god, we never would have bought that." Like it's like that to me is a gift. So the
yeah,
eccentric gift of like someone, him finding a frame from the homeless man in Times Square and framing
yeah.
our,
Yeah, punching him in the face to get it.
playbill.
Yeah. Which
Exactly.
that is kind of a
Playbill.
love thing too. Like is like that would be a good Valentine's Day gift for guys is like take your girl out to a bar and then you could hire someone to hit on her and then you beat that guy up to prove your like manliness love
To
to
prove
that
your
person.
undying love.
Yeah, I mean, I think
Here's the
girls
thing. How do you
no. Let me say one thing though, is girls always act like I don't like violence, but I'm not gonna lie, like girls love to see their boyfriend knock another guy out who's been like harassing them. Okay. I mean, like the girls, like they love it. Are you taking? I feel like you're typing and taking notes for that right now. Is that what I
I
hear in the
am
background?
actually.
Are you?
I
That's
am.
good. That's a good gift.
I'm working my real day job.
That's good. That's good. I hope they don't. I hope they don't listen to the. Well, I hope they listen to the show, but then I hope they're just like, wait a second, she was broadcasting. But you brought up a good point, though. Let's go back because you said the key word for Valentine's Day, which is weddings. And statistically, if you didn't know, the two biggest things that happen on Valentine's Day, I looked this up on the internet, and we all know that the internet is true, is that number one, Valentine's Day is the biggest day for people to get engaged.
It
All
is?
these, yes, it's like one of the biggest engagement holidays in the galaxy. And then the other thing is it's one of the biggest like I'm sorry days. Like couples that are like struggling and probably should just break up. They use Valentine's Day as to like rejuvenate the love. But going back to it, Valentine's Day is like the key holiday to get engaged. And I don't know, man. I don't know about using Valentine's Day to get engaged. I feel like that's really cheesy.
It's beyond cheesy. It's all what we established in the beginning. It's a Hallmark holiday.
Oh
It's like
yeah.
that stupid day, sweetest day. Like what is this? Like I
I
mean,
don't
but
even
the
know.
flower industry, like I mean, God, people die all the time. They don't make that much money. But when Valentine's Day rolls around, I think you're right. It is like I don't know. It's either was like people trying to solidify the relationship or trying to like move the relationship forward, or they're just trying to keep the honeymoon going, or they're
Yeah,
like
yeah.
you and you're married and you're like, here's your box of cookies, bitch, let's go.
Yeah, here's your Entenmann's. Enjoy. But no, it's like I think
Exactly.
a lot of people get engaged on Valentine's Day. Here's the thing I think sucks about that though, because like if you ever go out to a restaurant and you like get down on one knee and like put on a show for all the other people around, you might get a free meal or a bottle of Cristal for free, right? Here's the bad thing. If you propose on Valentine's Day, nobody's going to give you free shit because it's Valentine's Day.
Valentine's Day.
So here's my tip to all the gentlemen out there is if you want to get a free meal, free bottle of champagne, don't get engaged at a restaurant on Valentine's Day. Do it on like President's Day or Martin Luther King Day or Columbus Day. Don't do it on 9/11 holiday. That's a bad day to do it.
I
Don't
feel
do it on
like you're picking
Christmas.
the federal holidays. You picked all the bank federal holidays.
Don't do it on Postman's Day, you know. Or I don't know, Native American
But also
Heritage Day.
the upcharge of getting married on Valentine's Day has to be like, I mean, I don't know. That's too cheesy for my world. Like
Well,
I
I
don't.
think the good thing about getting engaged on a holiday is you never forget the day you got engaged. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I think my wife remembers the day we got engaged. I couldn't tell you. I couldn't even tell you what day it was. I totally forgot. I'll admit it. I was like, I have no clue. But if you get engaged on a holiday, you'll always remember that. You'll be
So
like, oh
maybe
my
for
God.
some guys, they need that. They need to
Yeah,
be
they need
reminded.
that.
Like we got engaged on the 4th of July,
Yeah,
America's
boom.
birthday.
Yeah, exactly. Like I'll always remember that. And we have a very like George Washington themed, anniversary. It's amazing.
I mean, we got engaged on Valentine's Day. So basically, for the rest of my life, I'm supposed to be buying this bitch flowers anyway. But now I really have to buy her flowers because, like, we got engaged that day.
Yeah. Yeah. Also, the other thing too, as I read, is that Valentine's Day is actually one of the biggest holidays where couples will break up on
Oh,
Valentine's
absolutely.
Day.
Or I think it's like the make or break. Like, they actually try and get through the day together because they're
Mm-hmm.
just like, oh, well, we have to, like, we don't want to be alone. So we'd rather just hold out. And then once it's over, it's like, yeah, we're done. Like, and curtain. Like the
Yeah.
show is over. Like
Yeah.
they get through their Valentine's Day dinner and like they go for one more round in the sack, and then they wake up the next day and they're like, yeah, so this isn't working for me. Like and then
Well, also, I feel like Valentine's Day
breakup
also.
season is coming. Like they get
Oh
through the
yeah.
holidays. They get through the holidays and you get through Valentine's Day, and then you're just like, yeah, winter's over, summer's coming. Like it's
Well, when
like
COVID is
yeah.
finally gone,
Yeah.
everyone's going to be breaking up because they're like, I'm only with this person because I don't want to be alone during COVID. And then once they get vaccinated, they're going to be like, see you later, sucker.
Well, that's another thing. How do you go on a Valentine's Day during COVID? Like New York City, they're still waiting. It's like pending approval from the LoveGov, no pun intended.
Yeah.
Pending approval for the reopening of restaurants. So like I can only imagine like, I mean, are you going to take like a first date out on like, oh, the New York City restaurant's opened. I got a reservation at Scarpetta in the West Village. Like,
Yeah, and you can sit outside in like 20-degree weather in the snow.
No, they're opening indoor here. They're going to open.
Oh, they
indoor.
really?
That's they're going to open indoor. That's why it's pending
so
in
lucky.
quotations, pending approval from the LoveGov. So it's like, he's holding everybody at their Valentine's dates at bay. Like, am I going to get late or am I not going to get late? Because if the restaurant opens, I'm definitely getting late. But if it doesn't, and like I'm stuck with this bitch in like 30-degree, well, maybe you know what? They might be so cold to be like, hey, here's my negative COVID test. Here's your negative COVID test. Let's go.
Yeah, I feel like COVID Valentine's Day is going to be a lot of maybe Zoom I guess like things, or I think it's like chatterbait and like those kind of things will probably take off. Like guys could just go online and just hire like a webcam girl
I
to
think
be their date.
Amazon and the flower shops are just going to explode.
Oh yeah, yeah, and be sending, I don't know. It's the great economy boom is Valentine's Day.
I mean, and the Galentines, yeah, I just kind well, I feel like single women, actually, this is like a blessing this year because it is COVID.
Because
You
when's
don't have to leave
Valentine's
your
Day? Is that the
house.
15th? Do they celebrate that on like the 15th or the 13th?
Oh, they do. I can't remember. But the point is, with single women this year with Valentine's Day, like you get a free pass. It's like Monopoly. You get to pass go. You get to, you get to
You don't
skip
have to
out.
feel bad. It's COVID's
Yeah,
fault.
because you're not really going anywhere. You're not really hanging out in the Dwayne Reed or the Walgreens like you were. Shot like
Yeah.
with the shit all in your face because like
Yeah.
you only leave the house for necessities. So like, and you can't go out. So yeah, you get like a free pass. Like you can sit on your couch and like watch all those Meg Ryan movies, remind yourself how old you are, and like shove the chocolates in, and no one's watching. Like you don't even have to like, you just can evaporate. Like this year's it's a free V
So you
day.
get a free pass. So wait, what's the best
Yeah.
Valentine's Day movie? Wait, what's the best movie though? You just said Valentine's Day movie. Best Valentine's Day movie. What is it?
Oh, I think it's Casablanca.
Okay.
I think it's hands down. That's old school. If we're going rom com,
go rom com. Because nobody knows Casablanca.
I think Sleepless in Seattle was like the best.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe because I do like live right by the Chrysler and the Empire, right? Yeah, the Empire, where they go up to the top and like they had that whole thing with the MFEO made for each other. Like, that was, yeah. I think. What about you?
I'm gonna say Star Wars: Revenge of the Sith. Because Anakin Skywalker is so in love with Padme that he slaughters every Jedi. He doesn't even give a shit how old they are. He's like, infant Jedi, I'm killing you because I love my wife so much. That's fucking love right there. Like when you
this is the way to your heart.
Yeah, like when you destroy a group of little Jedis that are like 5 years old, and you just take that fucking laser sword and just cut through them like butter and a hot knife, all for love. That's dedication right there. And that's why I think that's the best. That movie is like, this is love. Like this is.
So like, that would be a great Valentine's Day date if the movie theaters were open. Because you know what the thing about taking someone to the movies on a date is you don't have to talk.
I know. And here's the thing, like when I go to like, well, here's my thing too. Like, I don't use that time to like make out. Cause like you'll go on like movie dates and people are like, ooh, we're in a dark, secluded place around people. Let's do some stuff. Cause I get off on people catching me. But I'm the type of guy, I'm like, no, if you want to go on a movie date with me, like we're watching the movie. I'm serious. Don't talk to me during this movie. You can kind of cuddle me, but don't get in the way of my eyesight. Okay. Like this is not hanky panky time. Unless you want to see the movie again, then we can have some hanky panky time.
What's the best hanky panky movie? If you were gonna go that route, what is the best make out movie?
Oh my god! I mean, there's so many.
Lethal Weapon's not really in there.
Well, I mean, it could. I mean, that's got a good romance. Terminator is probably a good one. Terminator 2 is also good.
Like what sets the mood for like, let's like get it on,
Well, I like to see movies that are post-apocalyptic because it creates this mood of like an end of the world. So the girl sitting next to you is probably like, oh my God, like the world can end. So I need to make out with someone before that happens so I don't die a virgin. And so I think
Batman.
Yeah, exactly. So that's why you take your dates to go see like zombie movies or end of the world movies or those movies where like the ice caps blow up, because then they're like, oh my God, I have to be with Nick Catelli now because the world could be ending. This is my last chance to get some action in. It's a psychological, romantic, apocalyptic thing that a lot of guys don't do.
Take them to the movie, don't talk. Then bring them to a bar afterwards, get them loosey-goosey on like 2 glasses of wine and be like, oh my God, that movie. And then like that part where the world was ending and like, make like
that could happen. Yeah. Because here's the number one mistake a lot of guys make when it goes to going to the movies and seeing a rom-com is when you see a rom-com, okay, I don't care who you're on a date with, the people in the movie are going to be better looking than your date. Okay. Like the girl with me.
You've been dating.
Well, they're going to see a movie with me, and then they're going to be like, oh my God, it's so and so. He's so gorgeous and handsome. How the fuck did I get stuck at this movie with Nick Catelli? I want to run off with that guy. And then she moves to Hollywood to try and hook up with him. Now I don't have a date for Valentine's Day. So don't take your dates to like see rom-com movies with beautiful people, because then it makes them realize how ugly the person they're, with is.
Oh, well, sometimes you watch The Bachelor and I feel that way.
Yeah, exactly. Like I hate watching The Bachelor. Is awful because it's like I could never take you on a date like this.
And I'm like, where do you find these people? They're like remotely beautiful, but they're so dumb.
I know. And the dates are like so over, like we're flying to Thailand and we're going to meet the Prince of Monaco and play shuffleboard with him. And it's like, I can't do that. Like, I can't do a date like that. Like, I could never do a date like that.
Well, because you have a date with like 17 cameras on you, like watching you make out or like body paint each other.
Yeah, they should have they need to have a Bachelor version where it's like, these are the real dates. They don't
eat either. Well, they all don't eat because I look at them and go, you don't eat. As I'm stuffing my face with whatever Monday night snack I can get my hands on, okay? Like, my skinny pop or my gelato. And then I'm like, yeah, she doesn't eat that. But it's okay. I'm not her. I'm not on national television right now on a date. On a live date with,
on a live date.
Also, I wouldn't want my family seeing that. I wouldn't want my... Like, your parents are seeing that? Like, come on. That's like, I
know. It's very humiliating. But they need to have a version of The Bachelor where they just go on, like, regular people dates. Like, like, we're going to go bowling. Like, that's the date.
And they eat. Oh, and they eat. Like, they actually eat.
And I got nachos.
And the beer.
Yeah, we're going to actually get drunk, They
might spill something on themselves like regular people do.
Yeah. Like, on this date, like, we're just going to go to the mall and walk around and talk about all the stuff that we would buy if we had like a lot of money. Like, that's a good date for The Bachelor. It's just the problem is The Bachelor just sets this like high bar of like, if you want to fall in love, you better be dropping like 6 figures on every date that you go on.
Yeah, but you also go on like a date with like 15 women.
That is true.
Basically like starve themselves to anorexia. And like, I don't know where they get these clothes. I'm like, God, where do people shop? What mall are you going to?
Well, I'm surprised because how long's The Bachelor in I mean, it's been on for almost 30 years now? Has it been 30 years? 20 years?
No, I think 20 something. Like,
okay.
No, like, not 20. I should look it up. Tristan and the firefighter, they were like the first one, and they had a like live TV wedding. They were like these people were soap opera stars.
Yeah,
you get like attached to them, like you want to know, like I mean, the people in the soaps did it right though. They didn't date; they just like did it. They just like looked at each other, like they just looked at each other longingly, and then like, oh, but you're married to so and so, you're married to Stuart, but I don't care. I'm going to sleep with you anyway. But then your bipolar wife is coming at me, and I have to die off or go be buried in a well for 9 months.
I think that brings up a good point, though.
Baby, I don't know.
But that brings up a good point. Is like, what do swingers do for Valentine's Day? Like, is that a big? Do swingers? I guess. Well, I guess they go on like group dates, but like, do swingers celebrate?
Wasn't that The Bachelor?
Day?
Then they're on all these group dates.
Yeah, I guess so. But like, swingers is like it's like couples.
Well, they can't operate right now during COVID.
Yeah, that is true.
Unless they have a live-in. Like a throuple, HGTV, you know what? That's an amazing Valentine's Day. You should just sit around watching HGTV because there's no one that doesn't like watching HGTV, like the houses and like we could live here, we could do that. Like, like there was that Saturday Night Live this weekend.
Yeah, I saw that. It's like porn for
Zillow.
like. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Exactly.
It's true, though.
Like it's so true. Valentine's Day. But anyways, HGTV had this throuple. They were looking to buy a house. And it was like, wait, what? So the point about the swingers is like they could just have a live-in, and they could be a live-in like throuple, and then they wouldn't have these COVID like restrictions.
Yeah. Yeah. So okay, now here's a good question: have you ever given someone a Valentine's Day just to be polite, like it had no like sort of love or emotion connected to it, but they completely took it the wrong way, and thought that you were like in love with them? And I'll give you an example. So when I was in college, I was a senior in college, and I remember on Valentine's Day, I forget. I was out with some friends. I didn't have a girlfriend at the time, and I remember I ran into this freshman girl that I knew that was in like the I forget how I know her, but she was like needed a ride home. So
Okay.
I just gave her a ride home just to be nice. I was like, I'll give you a ride home, and I was joking. I was like, oh, it's your Valentine's Day ride, me. And
Yeah.
then like, I forget, like I forget why in the fraternity we had like the little Valentine's Day cards. I think we'd give them out to sororities. And
So you friend zoned her, and she definitely went the wrong direction.
yeah, she definitely went. She went. I mean, she went like way off the direction. Because I gave her like a Valentine's Day. It'd be like as if like my son will probably be giving out Valentines on Friday. It's like, hey, it's your Super Mario Valentine's Day. It's like I'm
Aw.
gonna eat a mushroom for you. You know how it is in school. So I did like the elementary school. Like, I feel bad. I'm giving you a ride home. Here's a Valentine. Happy Valentine's Day. I drop her off at the dorms. Like I pull up to the dorms. I was a gentleman because I am. And
You
I just
are.
remember, yeah. And I remember she completely took it as Nick Catelli is in love with me. He's going to be my new boyfriend.
Oh
And she just
God.
like, and she was really, really nice. Like she wasn't mean or aggressive or like stalking me, but man, she was asking me out on dates. Like she asked me if I wanted to go to dinner with her, if I wanted to hang out. Um, she would try. I don't know. Like she felt, it was like puppy love, and she, at first I was like flattered, and then at some point I was like, oh my god, like thank God I'm graduating. I got to get the hell out of here before this gets crazy. But have you ever had anybody do
I
that to
actually
where
have.
like
I
you've
have
never had
not.
that happen?
No, I've never given anyone a Valentine that I didn't think deserved one. Like, especially of the opposite sex. Like, I mean, and like deserve one is in like, hey, buddy, I think you need to pick me up. Like,
Yeah,
like as my friend. Like, I'm pretty black and white when it comes to like what box you're in. Like,
yeah, that's good. That's
I
good.
don't
That's
really
good.
like, I mean, I do always send all of my girlfriends, married, single, whatever they are, in COVID limbo dating, I always send a card. Like I always send out little galentines. And I
Yeah,
usually
yeah,
use those old school ones like that your son's gonna hand out. Like they're like so tiny, the Barbie
yeah,
ones, because I love Barbie.
yeah.
So I usually
Oh yeah.
always send, because I always, well, not that it's time of COVID, but like I always think people like getting something in the mail. And like, even if if they do have someone, it's like a nice reminder of like, it's your friend, like your girlfriend, and there's no greater love. But also then if they are single, it just makes them feel special, because I've been there, and, it's always nice to feel like someone, thought of you, or, knows that like I mean, it just sucks to be, I'll just say it. It sucks to be single on Valentine's Day. Like, let's just
Really?
say it.
See, I
I just
love
think it
it. Like
sucks. I think it's
I never
like,
was
but I think
bothered
that's
by
a
it.
because you're a
But I think that
man.
is like
Like,
I
you're
think that is,
not.
yeah, like men don't care.
There's such a
Um,
stigmatism attached to it, and I think the
yeah,
older we get, the less we care. I mean, and I'm not one to talk because I have a boyfriend. So,
yeah, yeah.
and if he doesn't send me flowers, I'm gonna kick his ass. No, I'm not. But, it's like he just knows. But the point, like, I think back to what you're saying, like when we were younger. Like, I remember in high school. So my high school was huge. There were like 900 kids in my graduating class. So you could like sign up to send someone a flower, like a
Oh, the
rose,
candy
like have it.
grams. You could do like
Yeah,
candy
like
gram
have
things.
it
Yeah, my
delivered.
school
And
did
like
that.
I never got one. And
Oh,
I don't really know if I wanted one, but it was, yeah, but you know what? It was the idea of like, you watch all these rom coms, and you just like somehow wish that, like, that's why we love rom coms, right? Because it's like you want to live in an alternative reality. And so you always want to feel like, oh my God, maybe it could happen to me. Like maybe the fairy tales are real. But I also think that's part of like the female culture, like this whole Cinderella thing. Like,
yeah, yeah.
I mean, we've evolved, obviously, but not really, because it's still a primal thing. Like, women somehow want to feel like, they want to be, what did I say in
They
my
want to be
our last
chased. They want to
chat?
be chased. They want the
Chase,
chase.
and
They want to
also they
be,
want to
yeah,
be romanced.
yeah. They want to be
Women want to
romanced.
be romanced.
They want guys
So,
that'll come after them, make decisions, take charge.
yeah, but also to your point, like, I don't think flowers on Valentine's Day. I think I'd rather get flowers in the middle of the month for no reason to just say
instead
like
of
I love
because
like
on Valentine's Day, it's like it almost devalues the flowers because you're like, well, you feel like you have to send them. Like, what's really special about these flowers? Because you have a holiday that makes you almost feel like you have to do this.
right, which is my point in the card. You
Yeah,
like it's more effort to go to the store, stand in line, go through all the freaking aisles. And then the funny thing, I just think this is hysterical, is that if you really don't plan, which no offense, well, you're good, but
yeah,
most
yeah.
men don't plan. And so when
No,
they
they
get
don't.
to the Walgreens, they have to buy like the shittiest cars.
Yeah, because it's
They're
already
all
been
picked
ransacked.
over, because they're all picked over and gone. And so then it's funny because they hand you some like sad puppy card that's basically like, we're
It was a
breaking up, but we're not breaking up, because it was
Yeah, it
the
was like a
only
happy
card
birthday
left.
card, and they just crossed off the happy birthday.
But I think that's like the best part, if the guy has to just own it and go like cross off happy birthday and be like happy Valentine's Day.
Well, I
Like,
think
I
that,
think that's like
a
the
lot
best.
of because I looked it up, and it looks like a lot of guys. It's just guys, not girls, but a lot of guys literally wait until the day of Valentine's Day to buy things for Valentine's Day. So on Sunday afternoon, Rite Aid, Walgreens, See's Candies, it's going to be a shit show because a lot of guys, like 80% of men who do Valentine's Day, wait to buy stuff on the day of Valentine's Day.
Which is total capitalism, though, because then everybody marks their prices up as they should.
Oh yeah,
like,
yeah, and then the prices will instantly just go down.
Like, yeah, I mean, and in New York City, to send someone flowers is probably like your unborn child. Like,
oh yeah,
it's like sick. I mean, so but I guess that's why I was actually really proud. I was saying my friend earlier, her boyfriend was picking out like it was a semi Valentine's Day, semi graduation gift. But he was like, I was like, wow, I was like, you're really ahead of the game here. And I thought that he was going to give it to her on Valentine's Day. So she sends me a text and she goes, how did you know about this bracelet? And I was like, well, the real question is, how do you know about it? Like, I thought he wasn't giving it to her till Sunday. And then she's like, oh no, he gave it to me. I was like, oh, thank God. Because I thought I was like in trouble. And then I was like, wow, that's actually really nice that he like gave it to her before the actual Hallmark holiday. I mean, it was incorporated into like a graduation gift, but at the same time, like, that's our whole point though, is that, Valentine's isn't necessarily on the day. It should be an ongoing, year-round
an ongoing,
thing.
it's like an IV of love.
Keeping the rom-com alive, like keeping that, I mean, yeah.
So here's the other thing too. When it comes to rom-coms, because a lot of rom-com stories are usually like a secret admirer. Do you like the secret admirer Valentine's Day? Like someone like mysteriously sends you something and is like, it's from your secret admirer. And you'll find out on Valentine's Day who it is. I mean, is the secret admirer romantic anymore? Or is it kind of just more stalkerish?
Okay. Now, my 19-year-old self would be like melting like butter in a pan. And I'd be like, oh my God, this is so... Like, literally, my teenage self would just be, like, living my best. Like, I would just be like, this is, like, literally I'd be like, this is amazing. This is so, I loved Jane Austen and I loved The Little Women and all that, like,
it's just romantic.
I mean, I was in theater.
Mysterious.
Like, I loved all that, like, stuff. But now my, age not to be named self, I'd just be like, this is creepy.
Yeah,
like
it's super
show yourself,
creepy.
like Phantom of the Opera, like show yourself and like own it. Like be a real, I mean.
Well, I guess the letdown of that is like, is like if the person reveals themselves and then they're just like, you don't like them, like, or, they're, I don't know, somebody that you just wouldn't, I don't want to say ugly, but, maybe they're ugly to us. I don't know.
Well, we know that every pot has its lid. However, it just might not be the lid to your pot.
Yeah. So it's not the nut to your bolt, the cucumber to your vagina. Like it's none of that.
No. But I think younger years, like when you're in high school and college, like you love that idea of like someone's like secretly crushing on you. But then it's like when you hit adulthood, like you're basically like 21 and older, you're just like, like I'm over that crap. I don't need.
Well, what about now? Here's an interesting one. Is what about people who will send themselves gifts and then say they're from somebody else. Like, did you ever have anybody do that at your office? Like on Valentine's Day, they get
Oh,
flowers and they're like, oh my
we
God, it's from my secret admirer. And it's so clearly, it's like, no, you just sent them to yourself. Have you ever
I
encountered that
mean,
before?
absolutely.
Did
Like
you
I
ever
can't
do it?
recall offhand. No, I'm not going to spend the money like that on myself. If I'm going to treat myself, listen, I'm going to
I
treat
know
myself,
I'm
and
going to McDonald's. Yeah.
it'll be a trip to Saks, or it'll be like a spa day, or like
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
not. But there is a woman. So I work on well, I'm in finance, but go figure. My team is like 20 women. So talk about
Yeah.
like, and it's very
Ooh.
interesting every year to see who gets flowers at work and who is getting flowers, but they don't want them to come to the office, which I don't really care either way. I think it's the gesture. For me, the gesture in and of itself is very like generous and thought, it came from the heart. However, there is a woman on our team who she's been married a couple years. I don't think she's happily married, but she literally, if her husband does not send her like 2 dozen roses, she has like a meltdown in the office.
Really?
She like can't talk to
Really?
anyone, and she gets all huffy. And then if any other girl like of a younger age than her was to receive, because would get these huge bouquets of flowers, she would just be like mortified. She'd be so mad at her husband that he didn't send her flowers. And then like a day later, she'd get this ridiculous bouquet that was like Valentine's Day times 5. And
Yeah.
you're just
Yeah.
like, okay, well,
To
you
make up
proved
for
your
it.
point. You got your flowers. But my whole thing about getting flowers in the office is that, like, yes, it is nice to have something to look at on your desk. However,
You're
and I
kind
don't
of
know if you'll
rubbing it
be,
in the other people's faces.
well, you're rubbing it in the other people's faces, but also, like, I don't get to enjoy them. They're not in my home. I don't
Yeah,
really
that is
think of work
true.
as enjoyment. I have nothing personal on I don't believe in, I sit on a trading floor style desk. So I don't have any tchotchkes, believe it. No tchotchkes, no photos. Like,
Yeah,
I
there's
just
no
like,
room. You can't
there's no
personalize
room.
it.
I don't want people in my business anyway. So
Yeah,
for me to
yeah.
get some huge thing of flowers, is not really, I mean, it'd be one thing if like I was having a really bad week at work or a really
Hmm.
bad day, and Ethan sent something to be like, I hope you have a better week or a better day. Like, okay, then it might be nice to have on my desk. But for Valentine's Day, I don't need to parade it to the entire office like I have someone, like I'm spoken for, like old school. And it's
Yeah.
interesting because most of the women on the team who I would ask, or who are married, I just, at the water cooler, the coffee thing, you're like, oh, are you doing anything for Valentine's Day? And, it just comes out, oh, my husband sent me some flowers and we're just making dinner at home, like with the kid. It's very like
Yeah.
laissez faire. But some people really get sensitive. Like it's very catty, especially the younger. I think I hate to say age, but it is kind of a younger thing where like
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
getting
Yeah.
flowers
Because,
at work was like a huge deal. And
yeah, they make like
so,
a big show out of it and they really
yeah.
rub it in everybody else's like face that they got it.
Yeah,
Which
I
is,
mean, I
yeah,
remember
sad.
I got in a bouquet for something. I think it was one of the holidays, and I was hosting, and one of my friends had sent like a bouquet, and because I didn't have a doorman or there was no place to put it in a walk up, like there's no vestibule, so they
Hmm.
sent it to the office, and everyone just went berserk, like, oh my god, who's sending you flowers? I'm like, don't worry about it. It's one of my friends because we're having a dinner party this weekend, and they thought it'd be a nice gesture to have on the table. Like this is
Yeah.
not like get over yourselves. Like that's the other thing is it creates so much buzz or gossip. It's just like, I mean, we love calling attention to ourselves, but not like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
It's just
Not,
like
not in the
not in the
office. Yeah.
office. Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, because I would
So
say that's like the female version is like I got flowers, and I rub it in everybody's face at the office. I think the male version of that would be like I went to Target and I bought a box of condoms. I'm rubbing it in everybody's face that I'm having safe sex tonight. I think that's the male
isn't it
equivalent.
more like you're in Target and you're buying the Magnum extra larges and you just want
Yes,
everyone in the
yes.
aisle to see it or know
Yeah,
that you bought like,
yeah,
and now
yeah,
actually,
yeah.
now you could really rub it in people's faces because like I don't in LA, do they charge for bags? Because I know in Chicago
Oh,
they're
they
like
do now. Yeah,
hardcore bag chart.
it's 10 cents a bag. And I'll tell you this, like when I go to the store and I buy Magnum XXLs, I at least walk around the Target. I walk around the
To
Target
show
for
it
like
off. That's what I'm
50, yeah,
saying.
15 to 20 minutes. I show it off. I show it off to everybody. I show it to men, old people, wives. I don't care.
The
I will show
cashier is
you
who
the
you
box.
really want. You really want the cashier to know.
Yeah, yeah. I show it to the cashier, and I'm like, my wife is a very lucky lady. Hopefully, she gets the feeling back in her legs from after last night, and we can continue our lovemaking. But it's good to like parade that kind of stuff around. You know, I guess like if you're going to parade around the office, don't parade around with flowers and rub it in everybody's faces. Parade
So,
around with like maybe like I got my COVID vaccine. Let me rub that in your face because then people are like, well, that's good. Now I know I can't get COVID from that person.
but no
Right?
one's in the office to like share these details with.
I
Like that's
know,
the
and that's a
problem.
shame.
Like,
That's a
I mean, I
shame.
guess that could be your tagline though on your Bumble like account. Like, hey, I've been vaccinated. Like, because
Yeah.
then anyone will be willing to go out with you. Like, you should
Well,
just
actually,
literally
you
make
know
that
what?
your tagline.
I'm gonna start sending bouquets of condoms for
I was
Valentine's
gonna
Day.
say
That could
that.
be a
What if you
thing.
had
That
that on
you know
your
how there's
desk?
yeah,
Oh my
like
god, finance, that'd be the biggest bro thing to like have a basket of magnums show up on your desk.
yeah, and it'd be like nicely, and we're gonna do this classy, people. We're not gonna, I know condom. People
Oh,
always
the
think condoms are
cellophane
like,
and like a basket, like
yeah,
a cool
cellophane.
looking
There's,
like
there'd
yeah,
be, maybe like a
a
character of
bow.
some sort, a cartoon
Oh,
character,
a
a
Batman, like
bow.
a Batman figurine, like a
There could be
figurine
a
with like, oh, I
Batman
didn't see
one.
this. You know,
Be
like
a
yeah.
Super Mario, because I would love to see how people reacted if like you get like a bouquet of
Of
Magnum condoms at
condoms.
the office. I'm not gonna lie, I think you get a lot of your female coworkers would be like very probably a lot nicer to you. And
Well,
then a
yeah, if
lot
you're
of your
getting the double X, triple XL, then yeah.
yeah, and some of your male coworkers might be a little nicer to you too.
I mean, one would hope.
Yeah, which I guess, as our time is dwindling down, we'll talk about one more thing because
Okay.
this is another thing I read about Valentine's Day is obviously there's Galentine's Day, right? The ladies celebrate Valentine's Day and
Yes.
celebrate being single. And I think that's great. I love that. But I've heard that on Galentine's Day, some ladies don't ever go back to the guys. They stick with the gals. And Galentine's Day
Really?
is some sort of like almost like a coming out holiday. It's like I'm with my female friend. We're both single, but are we really single? And maybe we could not be single together?
But
Hmm?
it is time of COVID. Anything is possible.
I don't know. I don't know. Is Valentine's Day a holiday where people realize that like the opposite sex suck? And I'm going with team same sex, which is not a bad thing.
Well, I think yeah, it can make you realize that the other sex definitely sucks based on their behavior or whatever they decide to do to you on Valentine's Day that's just like horrible. Whether it's like they just don't acknowledge it or they forget it or they like don't do anything for you. Like I think that is the number one thing. Any man out there, don't not acknowledge it. Acknowledge it to your first question at the very beginning. You're like, what do you just
Acknowledge
you've been dating
Valentine's
like
Day?
yeah, acknowledge
Yeah.
it. Even if you've been dating for 14 days, literally 14 days, you have to acknowledge it.
You have to
You don't
acknowledge
have
it. You
to
should go
show
out
me the
there.
ring. Yeah.
Yeah,
Just
rent
acknowledge
rent a
it.
conference room, rent a conference room somewhere, set a meeting just like in 50 Shades, sit down, have a contract, be like, I'm acknowledging there's Valentine's Day. The spending limit budget will be no more than $25. Do not take this as a romantic love gesture. We just started dating. So will you get laid that night? I don't know. I'm not going to offer it. I'm not going to guarantee it. But sign here, initial here, date here, and this guy's going to notarize it. And because I'm a romantic guy, I will pay for the notary.
Well, there you go. But my
Yeah.
point to your question was that, it could flip someone to being like, men suck. I'm gonna like I
Yeah.
mean, personally that would never happen to me, but like I guess it could happen. I've never heard of this though. Like I've
flipping
only heard
flip
of
day.
like women. Yeah, I've never heard of the flip day. I just know that like for a fact, like women just like to. Well, I hate to say this, we like to bitch. So it's
Yeah.
just another
Yeah. Men
open
do it
invitation
too.
for us. Open invitation for us to like bitch, and I'm sure men bitch about it's Valentine's Day and I've got to like pull out the stops or I've got to send her flowers, like oh, and it's just like okay, buddy, well you should be appreciative every day of the fact that this woman is choosing to date you, but yeah, I don't know that we'd have to like deep dive into that more. We'd have to get
That's a whole
comments.
episode in itself of like flipping. Like what makes a
Yeah.
person flip? Why do they flip? is it good to flip? Was it just the nostalgia of the
Well,
day that made you flip?
yeah. I mean, it goes back to our last conversation when we were saying about COVID, like who sends the Zoom link when you're gay? Like, how do
Yeah,
you
exactly.
determine?
Like who pays for the
Yeah.
dinner? Who asks who out? I don't know. I don't know the culture. I love the culture, respect the culture. It's a great culture. I just don't know much
Oh,
about it. But as we're winding down here, I guess my final thought, and Liz, we'll get your final thought too on Valentine's Day, is that it's a Hallmark day. It's a day that they make lots of movies and chocolate and cards and teddy bears and flowers. But do you really feel loved on Valentine's Day? Or is there still a part of you that thinks they're only doing this because they have to, because it's Valentine's Day? Is there real meaning behind it? Or is it more of I'm going through the actions because somewhere in history, somebody declared this a day where I have to give the person I'm dating something? Is there real meaning there? Or is it more just the commercialization of a fake fantasy of love? I don't know. I can honestly say I've never really felt gaga goo goo in love on Valentine's Day.
not
And I
even with
love my
your
wife.
wife?
Well, I mean, I love my wife, but we have marriage love, which is the strongest love of all because I have a contract with the state and a license with my wife. So legally, I have to be in love with her. But I did leave out the clause about having to go all out for Valentine's Day.
Well, anyone that's met your wife would agree. How could you not be in love with her?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I
She's the
am. I
best.
am.
She's the best. So,
Yeah. But I mean,
well,
that's my thought is like, I don't know. What do you think?
I think I think you're right. I think that it is totally, completely commercially fed, and it does put, I hate to say it, men or women in a relationship under the assumption or the guidance or guidelines. It's like a societal thing. Like you have to buy flowers, acknowledge your partner, take them to dinner, celebrate, kind of thing. However, I think and I know the person that I'm with is going to happily celebrate Valentine's Day because he wants to do something that's going to make me happy. And I think if ultimately you're with the right person, then they're going to do whatever it takes, no matter what holiday or day of the year it is, to make you happy. And if you're not,
Yeah.
if they don't, then you're with the wrong person.
Yes.
So ultimately, yes, I think my boyfriend like thinks it's ridiculous and like, doesn't really want us to have to like go through the motions of like acknowledging Valentine's Day, but he's willing to do it because he knows that it's going to bring nothing but pure joy, or it's going to make me happy. So, and I mean, I got him a bunch of cheesy shit, I got him some,
Yeah.
I can't say, but like, I got on Amazon and ordered him like little trinkets and stuff, like cheap stuff. And, I think he's going to get a kick out of like, who doesn't want like a little gift? Like, who doesn't want to feel, So, yeah, we fall completely into the Hallmark holiday of it all. So, but going back to the point, like, if you met 14 days ago, it's just, look, you got to just acknowledge it. Like, just
Get that
acknowledge it.
contract. I think there's a
Don't
lot of
even
lawyers
like,
who can draft up that kind of stuff.
and during time of COVID, like if you haven't even, if you've been on like one date or something, then just like acknowledge, like Happy Valentine's Day, send a gift. Like you don't owe them, you don't necessarily owe them anything. You've been out once. Like it's not, but always remember, I think that's the takeaway really is that you want to be with somebody that wants to celebrate you on every occasion or
every day.
Every
should be
day.
a small
Even if it's
Valentine's
buying
Day.
the cookies in the grocery store. Like it's something,
Every
it's a token of like
day. Like when the 4th of July happens, who gives a shit about this country's independence? Celebrate Valentine's Day with your loved ones.
Or get married on the 4th of July.
Yeah, because then you'll remember the day you got married. Like luckily we were smart and we got that date printed on one of our wedding photos, so I'm constantly reminded of when my wedding anniversary is coming up. But every day should be Valentine's Day. If the person truly loves you, then every day should be V-Day. And
exactly.
I think that's good. I think that's that's good. Well, guys, thank you so much. Oh my God, Liz Phillips. We gotta have you on the show.
Me. I love
we had too much of a long. I know we had too much of a long gap, so don't make us wait again. And we'll have you back on again. It'll be always a pleasure. It's so much fun.
Thank you. Love you lots. Love you lots, my friend.
Me? I'm not gonna. No, don't. You almost made me do.
Just for this episode, I think you owe your wife some flowers.
I will.
But
I'm gonna go
today. Buy them today before they go up in
Well,
price.
I don't buy flowers for my wife. I just go into a neighbor's yard and just pick them
Pick
because then they're
them up.
they're just
You know what you should
organic.
do? You know, you could really use your son.
Yeah.
Put the child to work. Pretend like, he doesn't know about her. He's 3.
I know. Unless I'm rip some, he'd rip them all to shreds. But that's okay though. So I might do that. Maybe I'll go walk around the neighborhood, dig up somebody's rose bush, and just give that to my wife. And I mean, that's the ultimate gift in itself. But guys, thank you for listening. Remember, like and subscribe. If you ever have a topic or you ever want to be on the show or have something you want to talk about, feel free to reach out to me at my website at www.catellicomedy.com. I know there's a lot of amazing podcasts out there that you could be listening to, but I really appreciate that you took the time to listen to mine, because my podcast is the only podcast that has Liz Phillips on it, because we had her sign a contract that she can't be on any other shows, or I can sue her for up to $3 trillion. So Liz, always a pleasure.
Always
Thank
a pleasure.
You so much. Thank you for listening, guys.
Love you lots.
Love you. Mwah. There's an awkward kiss for you. And we will talk to you guys later. And remember, stay safe out there.